Okay, hello everyone. I would like to talk about the universal design for learning. Universal design of learning is something that I definitely feel that I will keep with me the most from this class, especially because I hadn't learned about UDL until I took this class, and I just think it's very important. So let's get into it. UDL, I think, should be used because it meets the needs of all students, which obviously is very important. It meets the needs of all students instead of just the average or typical student. The curriculum that I teach should be accessible and challenging for every student. UDL has three principles associated with it. So the first principle is the representation principle, and this first principle is concerned with how content is shown to the students. So, for example, representation principle that can be, um, books, videos, pictures, hands-on learning, like how these students are being shown the content. And it's best to do this in multiple different ways so that, let's say, one student doesn't really get a lot of information or has trouble getting information from books, but then you also have a video and some pictures and some activities for them to do, then they're still getting that information from the content just in different ways. The next principle is the expression principle, and this is the way that students are showing you that they understand the content that they're being taught. So I'm in art, and so obviously that's often with projects. So like we have our different standards, like students should be able to, you know how to design a composition. They're gonna show us that typically through a project. But expression, students should have the options of verbally explaining, writing, creating a project, presenting, etc. And that can still tie into art ed. Like with stuff like artist statements. Like you might a student might do an art project for me, and at first I'm like, I feel like this doesn't really show that he understands the standard. But then if that student can then explain to me, you know, the choices that they made and rationalize them, then okay, then you would just like that's a different way of expressing that you know the content. Okay, the next principle is the engagement principle, and this is how you keep your students engaged with your lesson. This can range from motivating your students by what you say, having a fun and inviting classroom, making sure the kids like being in your classroom, they have a good time when they're there. Make learning like into a game. Like everybody loves Kahoot Day during school. Incorporating the students' culture into the class is something I like to do as well. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do in conclusion, universal design for learning is vital to creating an inclusive and effective classroom. UDL focuses on the needs of the individual rather than just teaching down the middle. Then a question I have for y'all. What principle of UDL do you personally find the most difficult to implement into your content area? Yeah, thank you for watching.